And ask your blessing upon us, and especially upon the purpose for which we gather here this day, to dedicate the renaming of this bridge to the honor and memory of your servant, Corporal Eugene Cole. Father, we thank you for all those who have made this day possible by their ideas, by their planning, by their donations, and all of their efforts. We thank you also for all who are here today to remember Corporal Cole and the ultimate sacrifice that he made on April 25th, 2018. God, we ask your blessing upon this ceremony, upon each one of the honored guests who are here to speak in honoring the life and memory of Corporal Cole. We also ask your blessing upon each one here today, whom by their presence pays respect and honors the life and sacrifice of Corporal Eugene Cole. Father, your Son, the Lord Jesus, spoke these words: "Greater love has no one than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends." Corporal Cole exemplified these words by his life and by his actions. His sacrifice reminds us that all those who wear the uniform and the badge daily stand between good and evil in our behalf. We ask that you watch over all law enforcement officers in our communities, in our counties, and in our state, as well as in our nation. We ask that you will protect them and keep them safe as they serve to keep the peace and to protect the innocent against evil. And Father, most of all, I ask for your grace, for your comfort, for your love today for the family of Eugene Cole, for Cheryl, for Phil, for Joe, for Dave, for Jill, and for all of their families, God, because they have borne the heaviest load of this sacrifice. I ask that you will bless them and encourage them in this day and this ceremony honoring their loved one, Corporal Eugene Cole. And I ask these things in your holy name, in the name of your Son. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. We have some very gracious guests with us today that are going to be speaking to us. And at this time, we're going to welcome our state representative, co-sponsor of the bill to rename the bridge, State Representative Theron.
Thank you, Richard, Evelyn, and Pastor Brooks. Good afternoon. I'm Brad Farron, and I serve as a state representative for Madison, Norridgewock, and Solon. Norridgewock is my hometown. On April 25th, our community experienced what can only be described as a senseless tragedy with the murder of one of our own, Corporal Eugene Cole of the Somerset County Sheriff's Office. Although this ordeal is nothing short of a tragedy, I am incredibly proud of how our community banded together to support law enforcement in their effort to bring the suspect into custody. The 4-day search that unfolded can be described as nothing short of impressive, with local, county, state, and federal agencies working together to find the alleged killer and restore some sense of security to our community. During that search, we showed what rural Maine is all about: neighbors helping neighbors. We saw area businesses and concerned citizens donating whatever they could to assist our first responders and members of law enforcement, delivering homemade food, beverages, and snacks throughout the 4 days to sustain the crews. Corporal Cole was many things to many people: a dedicated public servant, a family man who kept a watchful eye on our towns, a musician and a mentor. To all of us, both in life and now in death, he is a hero whose memory deserves to be honored. That's why we're gathered here today, on what would have been his 62nd birthday, to dedicate this prominent bridge to our hometown hero. Getting to this point required the support of many, and I'd like to extend a heartfelt thank you to those who were involved. I'd like to start with State Senator Nate Libby, who grew up here in Norridgewock. Nate immediately reached out to me and asked that he be the lead co-sponsor on the legislation that resulted in us being here today. The senator could not be here today due to a family commitment, but asked that I share the following. Family always comes first, whether that is your actual family, the family you gained growing up in a small town, or the family that forms at your work, especially when the career is one where your life and safety is on the line. Corporal Cole was part of that extended family, small town family to many of us. He and my mother Kathy have known each other since they were at school together. He, his wife, and kids lived down the street from where I grew up and where my parents still live today. To those of us in Norridgewock and everyone in the Somerset County Sheriff's Office, he was a person we would go to with our problems, a person we could trust, a family member. I've been so moved that I'm sure everyone gathered here today has been by the outpouring of support that has been shown in this community since his passing earlier this year. His memory lives on in each of these supportive actions, and generations of Norridgewock residents will remember him not just because of the name of this bridge, but because of the legacy he leaves behind. May his memory and his legacy be a blessing. Senator Nate Libby. Secondly, we could not have done this without the leadership and members of the Maine House and Senate, and I see some of the co-sponsors, Representative Netto and Senator Whittemore and Senator Searway. To the governor, who extends his regrets that he couldn't join us today. To our town manager, Richard LaBelle, who formed a working group which included Linda Quimby, Kathy and Wayne Libby, Mike Liu, Sheriff Lancaster, that brought us all together today. And to all of you who have showed up today to express your support and appreciation to Cheryl and the members of the Cole family. I know I speak for everyone here when I say I hope this memorial can bring some level of comfort to Cheryl and the entire family of Corporal Cole, as it intended to be a constant and continual reminder of our community's appreciation for him and our deep sadness for the price that he ultimately paid to keep the town that we all love safe. This is the least we could do to honor Corporal Cole's sacrifice. His service and dedication to our community will never be forgotten. It is now my honor and privilege to introduce a woman who really needs no introduction. She has represented the state of Maine for 22 years in Washington with integrity and honor. She is known to be thorough, compassionate, and to lead with civility. One of her trademarks is the work she does for us, her constituents, and that is why she is here today. Please welcome the senior senator from Maine to Norridgewock, Susan Collins.
Thank you so much, Brad, for such a warm welcome. I have to tell you, it's really wonderful to be back home in Maine. Distinguished guests, friends, and most of all, the family and law enforcement colleagues of Corporal Eugene Cole. What an honor it is to join you on this day of remembrance and gratitude, a day that would have been Corporal Cole's 62nd birthday. Corporal Cole was a loving husband, a devoted father and grandfather, a caring neighbor, a concerned citizen, and a dedicated law enforcement officer. He was a hero, not just because of the way that his life ended, but because of the way he lived it, always caring for the people of these communities. Every law enforcement officer answers a call that sets them apart. Most of us wonder if we would ever have the courage to risk our lives in a moment of crisis to protect the lives of others. The men and women who wear the uniform demonstrate that courage every day. And I'd ask you to take just a moment to thank them for that. They and their families share the solemn knowledge that each new day can bring new dangers. Corporal Cole answered that call, and he served the people of Somerset County with commitment, compassion, and valor. The dedication of this bridge in his name is a fitting tribute. For generations to come, all who pass this way will learn his story, and they will be inspired by his dedication to others and by how the communities all came together to support his wonderful family. His wife, Cheryl, their children, and the entire family have suffered a terrible loss. It is my hope that they will find some solace in the designation by the town of Norridgewock that April 25th will hereafter be observed as Corporal Eugene Cole Day. There is no more appropriate way to honor a faithful public servant than with a day of public service. And most of all, it will remind us all of how important are the bonds of community that unite us. Law enforcement officers are often described as the thin blue line that protects life, liberty, and justice. It is a line that is marked by integrity and bravery. The hero whom we honor today served on that line with distinction. And Cheryl, I want to assure you that your husband will never be forgotten. May God bless Corporal Gene Cole, his family, and all those who step forward to protect and to serve us. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. It means a lot to have you here in Norridgewock. The next speaker is someone I've had the opportunity to work with the last few years. He is often soft-spoken, preferring to work behind the scenes and letting those that work for him to be out in front. However, on the 25th of April, 2018, he led from the front. He took a situation that impacted him personally and put the family of Corporal Cole, those under his command, and our community first. Please welcome our Sheriff, Dale Lancaster.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to recognize U.S. Senator Susan Collins, U.S. Representative Bruce Pollockman, and my friend, District Attorney Megan Maloney. I would like to thank all that have come out today to commemorate this bridge dedication. I want to begin by personally thanking Representative Brad Farron for introducing the bill that has dedicated this bridge to Corporal Eugene Cole. I also want to thank Town Manager Richard LaBelle and Norridgewock Town Selectmen for allowing this to take place. In the early morning hours of April 25th, we lost a fellow officer, but also lost was a husband, a father, a brother, and grandfather to a senseless act of violence. On April 25th, just a few hundred yards from here, was the spot that Corporal Cole lost his life, effecting an arrest, protecting the citizens of this county and the town of Norridgewock. Gene was taken away from us unexpectedly, leaving a void that is felt by many and can never be filled. Today, it is a bittersweet day. We dedicate this bridge to Gene. We dedicate his service to the county, to the state, and to the citizens of Norridgewock. This bridge will be standing long after we're gone. Generations to come will pass over this bridge and be reminded that Corporal Cole, Eugene Cole, sacrificed his life so that we could have a better community. I believe that Gene would have been humbled and honored to know how this community came together to remember his service. The Corporal Eugene Cole will be a daily reminder of Gene's ultimate sacrifice. It will also serve as a place where we can reflect on the person that Gene was and how he impacted our lives. This bridge should make us think of all the good in the communities that we work, where we work, and raise our families. God bless Gene. God bless Gene's family. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff Lancaster, for your leadership and commitment to all who live in Somerset County. Our last speaker of the afternoon, before we move on to the unveiling piece of it, is our District Attorney, Megan Maloney.
Well, it is a pleasure and an honor to be with all of you today, as it is a pleasure and an honor to work with law enforcement every day. I'm particularly glad that I will be walking across this bridge with you, because the last time I crossed the bridge, I was struggling through 13.12 miles in honor of Corporal Eugene Cole, along with hundreds of you. Really, the thing that kept me going in this very first half marathon that I had ever run, I had never any interest in running that distance, but it was memories of Gene that kept me going. Corporal Cole, or Gene as he preferred to be called, was someone who was relatable to everyone. He had a way with people, with all people. He had a way of saying, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. So let's do this the easy way. And he would get compliance. He could have an arrest warrant for someone, go to their home, knock on the door, get no answer, and say, look, I know you're in there. Do I need to get a search warrant, or will you come out? And the person would respond and would come out. And the reason is, people trusted him. They trusted him because he was a member of our community. They knew him. They knew that they would be treated fairly. All people knew this. Gene was an active part of our community. I know he's going to be very missed this hunting season, for he would go to the diners in the morning and tell the hunters where he spotted the deer the night before. He was also a humble man. He wasn't too proud to follow his son, David, to follow his example, to know that law enforcement is an important and a noble profession. and he followed in his footsteps to the police academy. This decision to become a public servant is one that Gene took seriously every day. Everyone knew him as Norridgewock 1 because he was the first to respond to every time there was an issue in Norridgewock. He genuinely cared for people and he loved his community, and he put that passion into everything that he did. If Norridgewock had a mayor or a police chief, that person would be Eugene Cole. So I bring with me today a commemorative coin for the love of his life, his wife Cheryl, and a t-shirt from my office, the Kennebec Somerset District Attorney's Office, that on the back says, "Running for Justice." Because all of us here in law enforcement know that every single day that we are serving the public, that Gene is right here. He is running for justice with us every step of the way. Thank you, Corporal Eugene Cole.
Thank you, District Attorney Maloney. So folks, now that kind of finishes up the speaking piece, and now we're going to do the community piece, and I hope you all can stick around and enjoy. We're going to, first of all, we've got folks from the Norridgewock Parks Committee that are going to hand out balloons to the family that they're going to release to the heavens. I think they're working their way down with the balloons. Oh, I got them in the back. All right. Then what we're going to do, we're going to move this trailer off from the center of the 201. We're going to ask the official party to form up in front of the bagpipers. And I'm asking and inviting all the law enforcement and then the rest of the community to fall in behind. We're going to unveil the sign, move down to the plaques. The other sign on the other end of the bridge where the bagpipers are going to play for us. Cheryl and the family are going to remove the coverings from those. We're going to meet on the other side of the terrace on Sophie May Lane, where we're going to have Amazing Grace and the town manager doing some closing remarks. It would really mean a lot to everyone here, and I know it would to Cheryl and the family, if you'd all stick around, walk across this bridge with us all, hear the music, be proud, the sun's come out. And God bless all of you for coming out. And I looked out here. Representative Austin was one of the sponsors of the bill, and I see our Attorney General Janet Mills here, and a representative from Senator King's office as well. So I want to make sure I get the partisan thing in, make sure I hit everybody down through, and thank you all for being here. And let's show the Cole family how much we love and respect them, and stick together on this, and just give us a couple minutes to move things into place, and let's hit the bridge. Elwin Matthews just spoke, and when Elwin speaks, we listen. Thank you to the members of the VFW for being out here and presenting the colors today.
Down here. They're going back to Frankfurt. Oh, they're going in. Mom, slow down. Slow down. Hold on. Mom. Jim.
Folks, we just want to take a minute to thank you all for coming here today. On behalf of the town of Norridgewock, the Cole family, thank you. This showing of support across the bridge is tremendous today. Representative Theron, thank you for the organization, all that you did behind the scenes to make this day come together. All of our support services, emergency services, Mercer, CERT, Norridgewock Area Fire Departments, none of this is possible without all the behind the scenes. And to our bagpipers and our drum corps, amazing job. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Richard. Hey, folks, I'm going to ask you to stay on the bridge and park in the center, and the family's going to come back up through and follow in behind them, going back across the bridge with the bagpipers. And thank you all for coming up. Oh, countdown. 3, 2, 1, release.
Once I turned and saw you.